Alright, looks like we're live. Let me just make sure. Sounds good. Okay, and alright. So, if everything goes right, this is an unboxing video for Battlecon Unleashed. My name is Kevin, and I backed this at the core collection with the add-on sleeves, which are here. One of the things that I just want to put a disclaimer out first, I already know most of what's in here, and I'm pretty excited about it. So if you're looking for an unboxing video that's planning to kind of trash L99 or be objective, I just want to warn you ahead of time. That's probably not going to be what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be hyped because I am. So without further ado, let's get started. My box was about 50 pounds. There are 3 playmats, which you can see here. Here's the first one. This is the one I probably like the most. I just really like Carolyn. Then it looks like, what is that, Trius and Baneveer? I'm going to put these down here, which is going to be here. These seem actually pretty solid. Good thickness, too. These should work. And the last one is here. Who is this? Hakechi Yusuf. Okay. This one's pretty good, too. I like the red. Show that. Alright. So, I do know that the Grand Chronicle has been delayed. I know that they made that decision because it would have meant delaying it significantly longer. That being said, I've had a lot of conversations about some of the various lore bits with a lot of people at level 99. It was secretly like one of my favorite things about the Worlds of Endines, and you're all in for a trip, I think. There's a lot of thought behind this world, and I'm really excited for Grand Chronicle. So, here are the 3 promo fighters. We're going to get to those in a moment. These are the sleeves, and I wanted to show a little bit about this here. So, there are 2,600 of them. They're 52 packs of 50s. So, I will not be sleeving everything on camera because I would like this to be short and sweet. But I do want to just check the quality of the sleeves real fast. In like previous streams, I've used Dragon Shields. Okay. Hey, you know what? These are actually a lot higher quality than I thought they would be. Can see that there. Yeah, these are going to work. Okay, cool. I have, I don't believe that there's 2,600 cards, so there should be a few left over, which is not a thing I'm going to complain about. Secretly, I think this might be like the best value add-on that I've purchased from a Kickstarter to date, but we'll see if that's true or not. All right, so let me get this out of the way. All right. So these are the 2 boxes that everything goes in, and we're going to get to those first, I believe. Before I do that, I want to say that I know that Wanderer's Trials and Devastation all have this 4th edition. Make sure you can see that. This 4th edition logo on them. So these are going to be not upgrades. And because I got the core collection, I got everything. Actually got into Battlecon from a friend of mine who had the game. Then I played a lot of Battlecon online. So I didn't have my own copy at first. So this kind of gives me everything. Now, as I understand it, these other 3 here, which is going to be the Devastation Extended Edition. This is the one I believe that has Borneo and Judo. Yep. Fate and War. These don't have the 4th edition symbol, and you can actually see that on the other characters. I have Oriax 2 arriving tomorrow, it looks like. They have the 4th edition logo, but these do not. And as I understand it, there are upgrade kits for these inside those boxes. So that is what we're going to get to first. I'm going to first open those. I'm going to probably just take a look inside, and then I'm going to start going through these. Most likely, I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. If you have previous Battlecon editions, you know a lot about what this already is. So these are what I'm going to spend a lot of time on. I got to do a little bit of playtesting for some of this stuff. I'm really excited about some of the changes that they made. So I can't wait to share that with you. But let's start here. And let me just tell you, I have received this earlier, and I have not been able to open it because I had been planning on shooting an unboxing video. So this has just been taunting me all day, and I finally get to tear into it. There is a map of Indians on the back of both of them. Yes, both of them. And there are some cool places and areas in Indians. I don't want to go too much into it since that's not the purpose of this video, other than to say the lore is secretly one of my favorite things about Indians that I didn't expect to like. Box appears to be fairly decent quality. Yep. Okay, let's take a look. Alright. Nothing in here. New box smell. That doesn't come through the video. Okay. So let's take a look here. Alright. So this one, it appears, is just holding box number 1. I don't believe there's anything on the bottom of that. I'm a little loath to check. I don't want to ruin everything by taking a look, but maybe I should. Don't see anything, but let me just... I believe that this is going to be kind of how it goes. I'm probably going to sort them alphabetically is my guess. I'm going to put this back here. I have so much sleeving to do. A friend of mine got his earlier. The guy, I'm actually scheduled to play a couple games with him later on this week. I'm pretty excited about it. But he got his earlier, and he messaged me to let me know that sleeving was no jokes. That it was going to take a not insignificant period of time, which I 100% believe. So, this one's a little heavier than that one, so I imagine that there is some items in there. Let's tear off the cellophane. Another map of Indians. I don't believe it's different. Okay. Man, getting a Kickstarter is like Christmas. Same quality as the other one. It's pretty exciting here. Okay, so now we got a bunch of items here. Let's take a look. 4th edition transitions guide. This is going to be everything that looks like it goes from the previous editions to the others. I'm familiar actually with most of these just from A, doing some of the playtesting, but B, a lot of this is stuff that was on Battlecon Online before Battlecon Online kind of took a little bit of a decrease in playership, let's say. The big ones here are some wording changes, like the functional changes. There's a few, and I don't want to get into too many of them. The big ones are guard as a stat. It's not just stun guard on there. It's going to be the green number. And soak becomes armor, which is super relevant. Soak used to always just apply its value. Now it is a number that will get decreased as it's used, which is really good for multi-attacks and for multiplayer, which I have a story that I'll probably tell in a different video as I do some different content in the future. So let me save that. Okay, so there are. I'm just going to read this out loud here. It is a quick upgrade. So patch cards. This is going to be the patches for war. show this. War, Fate, and Trials, it says, as well as Borneo and Judo, which are going to be in the extended edition. So there's going to be additional tuck boxes, and let's take a look at those. I want to be super careful that I don't rip any of these. Okay, so I have seen a few other items here. So let's see here. We got tuck boxes for Thessala 3, Serafina, Berman, Jaeger, Baneveer, Eustace, Erie, Alumis, Judo, and Borneo. It's probably going to be step 1. One of my punches looks like it came out. Not a huge deal. Alright. This one has tuck boxes for Carolyn. So in a different video, I would tell you the really cool lore behind Carolyn and Aaron Ross and Lixus, but that is a totally different video. But that's really interesting as far as story wise. So Kalistar, Hikaru, not the good one. I'm an evil Hikaru main. Hepzibah, Cherry, she is one of my mains. Demetros, Hakech, Cadenza, Welsie, who I used to main but don't anymore, and Zanisha. Man, I'm pretty excited about some of the changes to Zanisha. Her draw mechanic was changed a whole bunch, and I think it's a lot better now. Alright, so tuck boxes for Zamasul, Fanat, Tatsumi, Seth, my girl, Magdalena, Rookyuk, Sagas, Luke, Lixus, and Kadath. Alright, so I don't want to lose track of any of these. Man, this is so much work to put together. Looks like we have a small batch of tokens here. It looks like on them is one of the new keywords, which is... oh, no, exposed. This is for, I believe, these are some of the status tokens for some of their effects. And it's funny, for Junio and Bordeaux, when I was playing Battlecon Online, Mix and I actually played a game on Tank Bard Sheets, which was Junio versus Bordeaux, or Judo versus Borneo, which was the weirdest game of Battlecon you've ever seen. And if you don't know why, Borneo and Judo don't have regular cards. They only have cards from other characters. Man, this is super hard to get open. They only have cards from other characters. So it was the most bizarre game where there's no strikes, no dodges. First of all, no dodges, and you're only playing with these. Alright, so Chivalrous. Okay, so it's a bunch of status tokens. I'm going to bring these up close. So it's going to be stuff for, like, this is for, looks like Saugus. Here's August Legacy for Carolyn. Here's Vulcanized for Kalistar. Hepzibah's Pack Sealed. Nightmares for Hakech. Watched for Sherry. Battery Charge. Okay, so Cadenza gets the +4 prio for battery. These are actually really cool because when you're playing in person, forgetting these things is really hard to rewind. Let me see here. Yep, so here's Borneo. I believe this is Borneo's two of his items. Here's Alexian's Chivalrous token that he gives to his opponent. Okay, so Jaeger, Limit Exceeded, Ritter White. I can't wait to look at Serafina, her infusions, and see if they are in fact now the same as Clint hides. Okay, and then Berman has some charge tokens. I definitely do not want to lose these. These are super important. Alright, so punch board. This looks to be, and let me just show this. So this is in this one. It looks here, we have a few different base packs, as well as, okay, yeah, so these are going to be the patch kits. And these are bases. I'll probably do a video a little bit later on like an upgraded how to play. Okay, and these look to be patch cards too. I'm going to open up a few of these, but there's one thing that I would want to show first. It looks like these are some of the upgraded tokens. We've got Frostflow, that's going to be Reen or Eustace. Crescendo is going to be Demetros. These are going to be Lucida's tokens. My girl Sherry has her inside token there. Okay. So let me open one of these up. I really want to show you what the new cards look like for the reference cards of a hit. So, okay, and as I understand it, everybody's going to be getting their own set of bases. Which, here are a bunch of shots. This is going to be Wall, Burgundy Slaughter. This attack is nutty. Syndra's Wings. One of the best unique bases in the game, in my opinion. Okay, so everyone's getting upgraded. Here's Kimby's Caster, Lucida's Teeth, what is that? Trius's Ballad, Wardlaw's Clothesline, and yep, everyone's got this. This is right here the format that I'm more familiar with, having played a lot of Battlecon Online, where you have these 4 stats, and you'll see Guard is now a stat on its own, as opposed to if you're used to some of the older games, which we'll see probably when we look into Fate and War, that it used to just have Stun Guard 3, and now it's just a base. So I'll have to go through these, make sure that I'm not missing any. Oh wow, check that out. So Syndra's Phoenix form has these red things on it. I wonder if Kalistar has the same thing. That's cool. I didn't actually see that previously. I dig that a lot. Okay, what do we have here? Hayden, Kimby. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to save all of these. And I'm just going to use a box for now, I guess. Where else do I want to show? So, reference card. Is that in here? Is that in here? That looks to be more bases. And I'm going to move on pretty quickly because I want this to be an easily understandable, easily viewable unboxing guide as opposed to like a full review. Let me see. Oh, come on. Rip. Want to buy fingernails. Por favor. Alright. I really don't want to get there. I see Arc on top, which is going to be Welsy's unique base. Alright. And I see Starlight Change, so that's going to be Ivy's card. Alright, so yeah, these are going to be some of the upgraded. Okay, here we go. So, first of all, here's for Irie's different, her different forms. Put those there. Each one of them now shows you exactly what they are. And when I was reading through some of the changes, this Exceed form, for people who have played Irie, and I'm not going to say her full name, but for people who played Irie before, her Exceed did something based on your form every turn if you hit them with Limit Exceed. Well, first of all, I've never actually hit anybody with Limit Exceed before because I've always used Magical Star Spear Atomos. That being said, it is cool that instead of putting it on the finisher like it used to be, now it's actually on her different anti cards, which is what I believe that these are. And I'll have to check for sure. Okay, so Then we have Jaeger signature styles. All of them, do have tiebreaker on them. Check this out. So for people who wanted to see Thasala's changes, and I used to play a lot of Thasala. If you played her before, you remember she had a giant board, and you basically were playing Go on a giant, board that you were doing. Now she has different. She has these different paths that you're going to put counters on and do something with a specific path. So unlike before, where you could kind of pick and choose where you were going to go, let's also be honest. Thasala was a little broken before. Okay, we all knew. I cried a whole bunch when they nerfed my baby girl Slaughterhouse, but also, I don't think there was anything that was going to ever prevent that. Slaughterhouse needed a nerf. Uh, but you'll put these on here, and then when you activate and get this, you'll get all the items from here. So, for instance, you'll put one counter on each of these, I believe, every turn. And then when you want to use them, you'll remove all the counters for it. So for sharpening, it's going to be +1 power at 1 counter, +2 power at 2 to 3, and at 4 counters, it should be, +2 power and on damage effect, chip them 2, which is they lose 2 life. Zanisha's draw cards. Let's see here. Welsey's past, present, futures. Here's Bane versus Spellbreak. Thing's absurd. This is gonna be, I believe that's useless. Okay, so yeah, Limit Exceed is now, it doesn't have everything listed on the card and is like super tiny print. Okay, Dragon Flare. I'm not sure who was using Dragon Flare when you had the option to Dragon's Descent instead. Brittle White Infusion. Okay, here we go. Big one. So here is what Slaughterhouse reads now. You deplete all the tractors on a trait, and that's going to be one of those 4 cards. You get the 4-cost ability regardless of how many trackers are on the card. So it's not quite as broken as Build-A-Bear Finisher like it used to be. Okay. Here is what I was really excited to show you, which is going to be the new reference cards. And I do not want to mess these up since I have to put them all into tuck boxes. So, for the new reference cards, there's something really cool about them, and I'm sure you might have seen this elsewhere. So, if you all played before, you had one reference card for your opponent that had all of the things they did, as well as some items on the back. This is for a Loomis, and this is a Loomis's base, as it looks like. So, now what you do is you hand both of these cards, make sure that this is on camera, so you hand both of these cards to your opponent, and let's say you want to see something like what can they do. So you have all his styles here, and on the back you have the common 5 bases, and on this side you've got his unique base as well as dodge, right? What this lets you do is when you're picking your pair before the beat, you can go through and say, okay, I want to see what exactly does this look like. And I've got to be honest, I'm not super familiar with a Loomis in comparison or anything like that, but you can see that his green style here. If you wanted to see what green grasp looked like, this is what it would look like. It would be range 1 to 2 or 0 to 2, 3 power, 4 prio, 2 guard. Start a beat, they're not in the shadow. Push or pull them 1 towards the shadow. This ignores ignores guard and armor, and push or pull 1 from grasp. And you can do this with all of them. So unlike before, where you had to, something I was really bad at, which is figuring out all those values in your head. Now you can just slide these cards against each other and get all the relevant information, almost just like we're playing Battlecon online. So it's pretty exciting for these reference cards. It's one of my favorite changes. I think this is phenomenal. Okay, some more reference cards. Oh, what do we got here at the back? Oh, character cards for, it looks like, Loomis, Bainveer, Eustace, and this is why, for anybody who's never played Battlecon, why I did not say Erie's name, because nobody knows how to pronounce this thing. There's actually somebody on the Discord for Battlecon. I can't say it. Alright. There's a few other things. I just want to take a quick look and just make sure what these are. Okay, so these are going to be all the upgrade kits for these. And they come with bases. Here's like Jaeger's character card. Okay, I'll have to check and make sure that these are all here. Rook Yoke. Use this. Got it. Okay, so Burgundy, Kalistar. Oh, here's something exciting. This appears to be one of the base sets, the common base sets. So, oh, maybe I figured out how to open this up. That would not be lucky. There is no luck today. Note to self, if planning unboxing video, grow out fingernails. Surprisingly useful. Alright. Here we go. So, just for reference, here's what, these are the regular bases, right? The common bases. This is what the artwork on them looks like. Wait for that to come into focus. Camera, do your job. Okay. Maybe that. Anyway, it's the classic people, but there are the new bases. These it looks like, yeah, so these are Judo's bases, which have the different artwork, and I assume that there's a whole set, because this was one of the Kickstarter reward goals. I love that they changed the font on them, too, which I think is great. Here's like the Savage Beatdown set of bases, which is I think is just awesome. Okay, so, oh my god, it's the Cadenzalings. So check this out. The Cadenzaling bases, they exist for real. Oh my god, this shot's amazing. Okay, the more brutal bases. I forget what bases. Oh, these are the shadow bases. Okay, so the shadow bases. These are Burgundy's bases. That grasp is amazing. I don't know what these are. The spellcaster bases? Okay, and then some more bases. But they did fulfill on the Kickstarter reward tier, or not reward tier, stretch goal, it looks like, to get those up. Let me change where I'm sitting slightly. Alright, I got one last thing in here that I'm going to check, and then we're going to move on to some of the boxes. This is my main. This is Evil Hikaru. This is who I played on Battlecon Online the most. He's the person I'm most familiar with. In game, previously to playing Battlecon Online, I was a Sherry and a Lim main. I really just like clashing people. It could be my favorite thing to do in Battlecon. And when I was transitioning to Battlecon Online, neither Sherry nor Lim were available. So when I was looking at it, Evil Hikaru's Ultimate Chaos style is the one that convinced me to play him. Well, that and Primordial. And I'm really excited to see what he looks like. Now, so because I didn't own the previous sets, I never knew Evil Hikaru or Anath as boss characters, unlike somebody else. I only ever saw them as playable normal characters inside of Battlecon Online. And that's how I got to know them. So this is perhaps the fighter that I'm most excited about. Okay. Yep, so there's his tokens. And yeah, I'm not going to open this up yet. But I do have to do a check to make sure that I have everything later. So this is box 1. As you can see, it's got a whole bunch of the upgrade kits as well as various fighters. Victor has my favorite design in all of Battlecon. In one of the few things that I was really passionate about during playtesting, the big one was one of Victor's finishes. I think that his finisher has one of the coolest designs out of anybody in the game, and I was super adamant that it should stay the way it was designed. And it's called Minutes to Midnight. And of all the cards in the game, it breaks some of the conventions, which I think is totally fine, just because of how flavorful it is. And it's flavorful enough that I really want to show it to you, assuming that I can get this open, which may or may not happen. Maybe. Come on. Yeah, there's no real good way to do this because I don't want to bring a knife and accidentally cut any of them. I would like them to stay in good order before I get to them. Okay, so this I believe is cool enough to spend the time to show you. So you've got your regular bases, got it. Everyone gets their own set of bases with Unleashed, which is really cool. His unique base is a question mark, switch style. Then he's got his regular styles, great, all great. He is the Master of Terror. Here's his other finisher, Thrill of a Lifetime. But that's not what I want to show you. Let me show you my favorite design card in Battlecon Unleashed. So, it's not Minutes to Midnight, Stroke of Midnight. So, his finisher has range 57, 58 power, 59 priority, 60 guard. None of that actually matters to the card because its effect is if you trash a suggestion, you avoid all attacks. It has tiebreaker, and if you trash a suggestion, you eliminate them. So essentially, this puts it with if they break one of your suggestions this turn, they lose the game, which is just like a scary finisher that you almost don't want to play. But these numbers here, I was super adamant about because I think this is just a phenomenally designed, flavorful card. None of these things matter, and on any other card, they'd just be blanks or NAs or X's. But Stroke of Midnight, 57, 58, 59, 60. That finisher, as well as Himmel Nine's Take the Shot, are two of my favorite designs in all of Battlecon. I don't know if we'll be able to see Himmel Nine, but it has flavor text on it, and I believe it is Yotavia Take the Shot. That's, of course, referring to Otavia 6, who's a member of the Division 13. The Division 13 are my favorite group in all of Indians. Man, just even talking about all this gets me super excited. I'm really looking forward to unboxing all of this. Okay, so let me put these items away in a way that doesn't make life miserable for me later. That seems impossible. I have to sleeve all of these. Man, brutal. Okay, so there's step 1. That's the big stuff. Now, let's speed through some of this other stuff. Okay, we'll save Devastation for when we actually look at Devastation. Let's start with, what is this, Fate? Yeah, Fate. Fate has Thessala, of that I've played, has Thessala, Irie, Welsi, Jaeger, Sarah, Berman. I haven't played too much Zanisha. I've played a few games with her. Banebeer, my friend played, so I was never really into him, but, his spellbreak things were kind of outrageous. Alumis also never played, but I really liked her concept. Welsi I played a lot of. I was not very good with her. But I was not very good with a lot of people, and I was still trying to play him. So, keeping in mind that this is one of the older versions, right? This is not version 4. Let me just get this slightly better. That is my head, which, great, but... Okay, this should work. Move this a little closer. Alright, so Fate, Fighter and Mode Guide. As I understand it, this is going to still all be the older stuff. And if you wanted to just see, here's an example of what Thessala's previous UA looked like. This thing was unwieldy and impossible for an opponent to even grasp. But it's really cleaned up. She is less strong. She also needed to be less strong. And I say that as a person who played a lot of Thessala. In fact, I used to joke around when I first started showing up that I thought I was good, but really I was just playing Thessala, because kind of true. She was definitely high in here. So this rulebook shouldn't matter too much anymore. Outside of figuring out like some items stuff, but this should be a older rulebook. I can probably toss this. Here are the stands for all of them. Okay. And then, so there are a few things that I have heard. Uh, some of these tokens are not done. Here are the old lifestyles. I doubt that I'll ever use those. This is going to be the projection for... Is he in this one? I didn't think so. Who's that? Oh, it's Seraphina's projection. Okay. Illumis' Shadow, Spellbreakers, Baneveer Spellbreakers, Eustace's Frost Flow, Berman's Firepower, Welsi's Recursor tokens. Oh, look! It's the Sala's evolution board. Okay. Here are the old toke boxes. This is... Okay, yeah, so this is the different version. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so they all have new tuck boxes that we saw at the beginning of the video. And they're going to be included in here. For instance, here's Illumis, here's Irie, here's Eustace. Just as an example, Eustace. So that's what the old tuck boxes kind of were. They're not really tuck boxes, they're more of just sleeves, but they have new tuck boxes here. So that's part of what this upgrade kit is. Alright. I'm not throwing away anything until I know what I'm throwing away. These are going to be Standees. Oh, these are the little dials for your life counters. Most of these should have upgrades that we saw. Oh, look, that's all his reference card. Not that it mattered, because you had an entire board. And then what tag? Oh, this is for the tag team rules. I believe that the multiplayer has been changed. I'm not going to go too deep into these, just because they're the stuff that everyone has seen before. If you previously played, and if not, we actually looked at a lot of the new stuff a little bit earlier. So let me save these, and I obviously put them back in a way that was terrible. So let me try that again, only with 50% more intelligence. Man, sleeving everything is going to take ages. Okay. So that was Fate. We're going to blow through War as well. Let's see here. In here, who we have? So we have actually a lot of people that I play. We have Sherry, and most importantly, Magdalena, who is my favorite. I'm very excited about Maggie. Okay. And once again, this is going to be, we're going to just kind of blow through War because it's got those upgrades as well. So basic fight, all of this should be outdated at this point. Everything's going to be in that previous box that we looked at. The fighter guide, yeah, this is all looks to be outdated as well. Okay. Is that Tatsumi? Yeah. That's cool. It's like a poster. Double-sided. Oh man, a character select screen. I never got the original box, so this is actually kind of exciting. Oh, check this out! Ah! That's so cool. Man, I might like press this between plexiglass and make something out of it. I don't know. That's really cool. My baby girl. Alright. We have Kadaf's Gate Trap, Judo's Marker, Electric Barrier. Is that Caitlin? Is Caitlin in this? Okay. Standees, a lot of these should still be good. Yep. I know that there's like a new insight token. As I understand it, if a thing did not receive a functional change, it did not get a new token. I know some people are kind of upset about that. It doesn't bother me too much. If they do release something, I'll happily do that. Arena cards, I don't know what arena cards are for. I never played like Paradigm. Okay, so that's a Mossel. I never played like Strikers or Armory. None of that was really exciting to me. I did play and win one of the boss versions, actually against Brad himself, with playing as the new Lim. I got to body my main. He was playing Twilight Magdalena, which, if you know my online handle, it's Twilight. So obviously, my main at the time my two mains were Evil Hikaru and Magdalena. So Twilight Magdalena is basically the most perfect character for me. And he was playing the boss version of Twilight Magdalena. That's a whole cool lore story in and of itself with um, there's a whole lore there about how she becomes Twilight Maggie and why it's really cool. But I beat the first time I ever played a boss battle. I beat Twilight Maggie playing my very first main in the physical game, Lim, with the new version. So it was kind of a special moment for me that makes me smile. But I did play a few of the boss battles, and if you're like me and didn't really ever care about alternate play versions, a lot of them never really intrigued me. Like arenas, strikers, armory, none of that really mattered to me. But I have tried out the new boss versions for like Ustad and Twilight Maggie, and you should give them a shot if you were ever like me and were like, maybe I don't want to do this because I just don't care that much, trust me. I don't know if anybody ever played the World of Warcraft TCG, but if you did, they had raiding counters, which are a lot like that. All right, so we have four, more like 3 boxes to get through. I'm gonna kind of blow through these just to keep down the time on the video, because I did not realize how much content there was. Man, look at me complaining about getting too much. So, let's take a look here. This is Wanderers. Some people that I've been talking in the Discord have characters in here. And in fact, the character that I was most excited about is Cora. I live in the desert, so Cora personally speaks to me. She is the cactus, essentially the cactus dryad. Um, I have played all of these characters, and they're all pretty good. I really like the concept of Charles' character. The only one that I didn't love is I didn't love playing as Kenny. Kenny felt to me like a weirder version of Rook, which I didn't like. I liked Reen. Phelana's really got a really interesting thing, and I played her as in a lot of different versions, some of which she was entirely too powerful. Veckel's really cool with his wisps. Um, John actually reminds me a lot of Himmel. Daijin, this is Charles's character. I once had a conversation with him asking about, and I was making a joke to him. So if you don't know who Charles is, I believe he's the 3-time world champion of Battlecon. And I was asking him, I told him this is kind of like an anime thing, right? The character that you make shackles himself. Like you are an anime villain in Battlecon now, Charles. You shackle yourself so other people can provide you with a challenge. Kai has some of the best mind games in the game. He's really kind of complicated, but it's a lot of fun. Um, Anya's pretty good. Her fly mechanic it's a little simple for my taste, but it definitely doesn't feel generic. It feels like she has her own identity, which is really good. Um, Let me see. Okay, so this should be the actual good rule books. This is should be another one in here. But if you're looking to learn how to play and you've got all of this content and you want to know which ones, the rule books that I would choose would probably be from Devastation or from Wanderers, because that's going to be fairly up to date. Uh, Let me see. I am just going to take a quick scroll through. Great. There we go. I love this picture of Candide. She's not in Battlecon. I believe that she's in some of their other Indians products. All of the Malaphases, of which Mule pointed out, Schecter's in the background. That is the Art of Battlecon book. I don't know if it's still available, but it's got a lot of lore from some. I believe it's like the first 3 or 2 games. A lot of lore, some really cool pieces of information specifically about Eligor and about Schecter. If you're a Battlecon or an Indians fanboy, like if you can't tell, I kind of clearly am. It was a great pickup. I don't regret it at all. I love that book. And I'm really looking forward to adding the Grand Chronicle when it arrives to my collection. Not just that, but just from a lore perspective as well. And then there are cool things. Man, okay, so Wendy's targets. I don't know if she still has them. Yeah, so she has her targets. The last time I played against Wendy, I got juggled by her targets real bad. So I'll be interested to see if I can do that to some other people as well. Oh look, I'm very proud of this. Um, yeah, I don't mind showing that. There's my name, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin Twilight Lambert. Let's see who we have there. Also, so I was one of the playtesters, but do they have the people who submitted the designs? Yeah, that's exciting. It's one of those things. Like I knew, you know that it's gonna be in there, right? Uh, but it really kind of tickles me to think that my name and not my real name, but the name that I go by that all my friends and I played against me, my online name Twilight is in that book in a real product. I don't know. It just it kind of tickles me, I guess. Which I mean, obviously, right? Any kind of stuff like that's great. Okay, so Kai, Kenny, and then we've got what I believe that's Veckle and Anya over here. I believe in the story of Wanderers that Jin is the bad guy. Here's a bunch of the transition guides. You're going to see the same thing in the earlier box. All right. Oh, so they did change it. Okay. Uh, looks like the. Okay, great. This is some important stuff because it has some of the upgrades. So here's when to use targets, Beckles Wisps. It looks like they did change Rin's tokens to just Frost. They used to be called Frostflow, just like Eustace's, which I actually thought was cool. But I totally understand why they changed that. Um, those are going to be Chorus Thorns. Yeah, I'm really excited about Wanderers, man. Uh, and I'm pretty excited to see Bristling in action for Cora. Okay, so here are some of the Force. These are the Force tokens. You do need a lot of Force. Force is, unlike for me in Battlecon Online, Force is now what decides the end of the game. Okay, so we have the Force Antes. You can only ante one per turn. It is cool that you get those. I want to be careful with all that. I have seen this board, and you guys. So the other boards were kind of cool. This board is really cool. This board's kind of awesome. So you have just this board here, but on its other side, you've got this, which is almost like a throne room, but still has the red and the blue spots. I think that this board is sick. Alright, so in here we have some additional Standees. These are going to be. Oh, that's cool. These are going to be like their small tokens for like effects, but it also has who is the active and reactive players, and it looks like there's 4 of them. So it's for the multiplayer, which, like I said, even if you were like me and you didn't give that out or you didn't think about that earlier, you should give the multiplayer a shot because it's a lot cooler than it looks. Let's see here. Okay, so all of the like character effects. So this is Anya's hero theme. Have their picture on the back. So just even in case you put them together with somebody else's stuff, you can easily go and find it again. And I gotta be super careful because I don't want to misplace any of these. Okay, so super switch Some people who are used to playing with other versions, I actually don't. I've played so much with Switch, which I personally love as an inclusion in the game. Um, there are obviously some characters who benefit immensely from Switch. Uh, Maybe none more so than, perhaps, tellingly, Magdalena, right? A 000 style for her is kind of nutty. It's spiritual light. Um, but I do really like Switch. I was someone on Facebook had asked. I wanted to point out, even just in this unboxing video, one cool thing you can do with Switch is if you its reveal effect is spend force equal to your life to replace your attack with your finisher, remove this card from play, and pick up your base. Now, what this means is that this is a reveal effect, and you have these force overload tokens. So, let's say you have 8 force and 7 life. If your opponent does something during the ante that makes you believe that your finisher isn't going to hit, you can ante one of these force tokens. That's going to bring your force below your life, right? So you're going to, if you have 7 life and 8 force, you ante one of these for 2, you go to 6 force. Now your style is just switching your base. So it gives you the option to almost cancel out of your super, which is just a cool little trick that we used to do on Battlecon Online, and it looks like you can do it in the physical version as well. So I wanted to share that. I'm pretty excited about Wanderers. Okay, let us not make any mistakes in putting this away either, and we'll keep trucking. There's a lot more. Still complaining about how much extra stuff there is. Look at me. That goes in here. All right. So, 2 more to go. This is going to be Trials. Trials is actually the one game that I have the least amount of characters played through. I've played through as Burgundy. I've played through as Kimby on Battlecon Online. And I played a little bit as Lucida. I understand Lucida received a few different changes. And Syndra's wings are something that always feels good to win. So I'm interested to see in how some of these change. All right. And as a reminder, this is also a 4th edition, so this one should have its updated ones. Looks to be the case. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I really like this rulebook. I like the font that they used. I'm just a big fan of this version of the rulebook. I think it's the best one that they've made. And I think that they got a lot right. The multiplayer rules are right here in the back. They're not that complicated compared to a lot of the stuff that you had to do previously. So this is really way more exciting than I think you would give it credit for. Let's see here. Oh, and I am in here as well. Seeing my name in print, always exciting. Alright, so more force overloads. I know that Hayden received a lot of changes for her control and rage. Burgundy's paint. Let's see here. Out here. Alright. More force overloads. Alright. Standees for each of the characters. Who was it that used to play Hayden and Eamon? Okay. And can be staff, Lucidus tokens, and some of these, as you saw, because we have the upgraded tokens. Those were in the previous box as well. Uh, the same tuck boxes that we're accustomed to for these characters. This board, likewise, just like the Wanderer's board, is really cool. It's high quality in comparison, I think, to the original boards. So here, I like these double-sided boards a lot more. And here, I'll probably use the throne room one from Wanderers. It's one that I really dig. Bases looks like okay, so those are four. And once again, every character has their own set of bases. They did include some blank cards as well. Um, oh, Burgundy's finisher, Emperor's New Clothes. Let's see. Alright, so I don't want to spend too much time there. I will have to go through and make sure I have all these items, but it'll be something that I do off screen. Alright, so that just leaves these are going to be 3 promo fighters. Rarity, Merceram, and Jin. I have Oriax 2 on the way. He should arrive tomorrow. I ordered him separately. Now, Rarity is... When I first picked up... when my friend bought, I believe it was Trials, I picked up Rarity to try to figure out how to play her. And if you are unaware, Rarity is a crossover, essentially. Indians succeed when. But I believe she plays Millennium Blades? Is that correct? Yeah, so she is their Millennium Blades crossover. Her her whole mechanic is like you play a small game of Millennium Blades out in front of you, and depending on how well you do, you get bonuses. But they all have the same tuck boxes. I had heard some people not or having their tuck boxes damaged. I didn't experience any of that, so I'm pretty happy about that. And as I understand it, there is space for both these as well as Oriax. Let's get to the big one. So, the very first one, and obviously the one that had most of the problematic characters, the original Kickstarter joke, right, was, and we rebalanced Eric. If you never played against Eric and Otavia, specifically, out of Devastation, were busted in two. They are, Caitlyn some people couldn't win against Caitlyn, period, so she was not great there, but man, Otavia and Eric, if you've ever played against their original versions, were oppressive. I usually don't like, people are like, we don't want you to play that way. Like, if it's in the rules, you can play like it. But tournament spanning those two did not make me super upset. Here are the extra modes. The boss scenarios with the platforms. Oh man, this means it's going to be in here. Twilight Magdalena, Dragon Berman, Udstad, Havoc. I actually have never played Havoc. I've seen Udstad, and I've seen Dragon Berman, and like I said, I got to crush the lead designer playing as this. I'm unaware of what this battle quest is. To be honest, I'm not super excited about it. It seems fine, but also, I'm not here for that. Okay, more rulebooks. Another, and keeping. Oh, whoa! What are these? Okay, hold up. Oh, it's a fighter. It's got a little story, but a fighter select screen as well in here. That's pretty cool. It's got a little bio on each of them. Oh man. Enderbite. I don't. Whew, Enderbite, man. Let me just tell you. Enderbite was kind of a nightmare to play against. Also, if you're ever wondering who has caused more rule questions than anybody, there's only two answers. It's either Gaspar or Saugus, and it's only ever those two. Nobody else. They give as many rule questions by themselves as all the other characters combined. Okay, so there's a little character select screen in this. This is called Return of the Dragon King. This one is the Well of Souls. And it looks like they're continuing a little mini story in here, along with continuing to tell you about a lot of the characters. Just keep in mind, there are an outrageous number of characters in Devastation. Into the Breach. Same thing. Yes, okay. Updated 4th edition rulebook. Yep. Alright. Upgraded tuck boxes for all of them. Oh, cool. Let me check this out. So it looks like, man, wait till you see some of the changes for Oriana. You guys are going to be over the moon about some of those. Some of her styles are some of her styles got a nerf, but man, Meteor got a buff. Meteor feels really good to use now. Okay, this is so cool. So all the boss characters have their own. Bam! Twilight Magdalena, the Harbinger. Oh, okay, cool. So, in case you were wondering, here are the tuck boxes for these, but also it includes tuck boxes for Enderbite, Gar, and Nuramilke, which I believe are new in this edition. I don't know that for 100%, but I believe that is true. Alright, let's see. Tuck boxes for Oriana. New Voco. Also part of their Kickstarter promise. Voco is actually not the worst character by a mile anymore. That is confirmed. I don't love Voco even in his new version, but he was unplayable in his old version. It's just terrible, so it's superior in my mind. Alright, so is this going to be the board that makes me not use the one from Wanderers? And that answer appears to be no. It is cool, but that Throne Room Wanderers board is still my favorite. More arena cards. I don't really know too much about those. I'm not super excited about them, but I'm sure I'll try them out. Okay, punch boards. And since it's Devastation, we've got to spend a little bit of time just going through. Here are the boss cards and the platform cards. How they do it. I'm pretty excited about those. They have the boss art on the back. Let's see here. Bases, standees, tokens. It looks like that's going to be Malice tokens for Schecter there, as well as the first players. That matters a lot for multiplayer. Okay, more bases, reference cards. Oh, here's Gerard's Gunslinger for his antes. Marmalee's Astral Cannon. Okay. Is there anything else super special that jumps out to me? Oh man, I believe that these are the guard bases. I don't know how well you can see that. That's pretty exciting. Just to give you an idea of how strong some of Twilight Maggie's attacks are, this is a range. Oh man, focus camera. Okay, so if you can't see it, it's a range 1 to 2, power 4 on hit, push or pull 1 to 8. Yeah. You guys are going to have fun with those boss battles. And I, once again, strongly recommend them. Okay, more bases. It's going to be some character cards. Oh, look, it's Gar's bases and all of his style cards because he reminds me so much of Borneo and Judo. Alright, let me take a look at some of these punch boards. I have heard that there's a possibility that some people did not receive everything. If they're in this version of Devastation, they obviously should have these updated ones. These are going to be Eric's tokens. Jen is Petrify. Threat is going to be Caesar. Masks are going to be Byron. Here's Gasper's clone. Chivalry is going to be Alexian. These are all going to be Clive, I believe. With these right here are going to be for Twilight Magdalena. Just some cool art. Okay. So that is the upgraded version of Devastation. And the last box that I have is pretty simple. It's most of that stuff is going to be covered in here, with the exception of some of the Borneo and Judo items, I believe. Man, I am pretty excited to own all of this. Let me tell you. I have been, yeah, it was not joking at all, in which I joked that I waited a year with no problem, and as soon as I heard that other people had theirs and I didn't have mine, like it, waiting days for a shipment notification was so much harder than waiting, a year. Um, in my opinion, this should just be a couple of items, nothing outrageous unless I am mistaken. Okay, so yeah, so these are going to be some upgraded character arts, and Fabio's art's so good. Yeah, some of these standees and alternate arts are really sick in my opinion. Also, Borneo and Judo. Oh man, it's casting director Tatsumi. Oh, that's not Tatsumi, that's uh, not Tanis. Casting director Tanis. That's exciting. And oh man, Borneo and Judo. Yeah, will be. Here is Callister Spellbolt. I will actually open this up because I'm pretty excited about it to show you why this match between Mix and I, playing as Borneo and Judo, was so awkward. So keep in mind that they don't have, first of all their styles are super mediocre, right? They're the mascot characters. And all of their bases are the signature bases of other characters in the game. So this is going to be for Judo. He's got Spellbolt, Lance. This is Luke's Flash, and I don't know how well you can see this, but they're like chibi versions of the character that owns it. So like you can see Callister. Here's Staff. This is not. I don't believe that this is Kimby's staff. This might be Loomis's staff. Maybe it's Kimby. Push it. Okay. Alright, and then so this can be Tatsumi's Whirlpool, Scythe, Cadenza's Press. Both of their finishers are tongue-in-cheek funny. One is for judo, it's Bandhammer. The other is and a bag of chips. But their styles are all super awkward, cuddly, cute, fluffy, fuzzy, snuggly. Even on here, it's judo team mascot. Now for Borneo, he's got Hex. He's got Smoke. This is going to be from Byron. Karen's Claw. This is Joel's Knuckle. Master Plan is Malandrax. Scene Shift. I can't remember who Scene Shift is. Divider is going to be Alexian. And his are the Mama Mazaroff, but also in the kitchen sink. I can't believe Scene Shift. Is that Pendros? It might be Pendros. Clumsy, pathetic, petulant, slippery, weak sauce. And then you have the updated character cards with the Fabio art, which I just think is phenomenal. This Director Tanis is probably my favorite of these. Okay, this Voka is pretty good too. Let's see here. There is a limb that makes me excited. But yeah, that is the unboxing that I have. I will probably be doing some additional content around this, specifically going into a lot of the characters that I'm comfortable with at first, and maybe starting at Wanderers and working my way back. It's pretty hard if you're looking for quality content. You even with changes, a lot of Marco's old content still gonna hold up. And more important than if you're looking to get better at Battlecon, more important than what does this character do? That's important. But it's not as important as understanding the fundamentals around the game. Distancing, card locking, um, you know, priority, but also one of the reasons I like Switch so much is a small area that I usually feel like I can get an advantage in a game is by using Switch twice in a game to get one beat of force advantage. You don't need to win many beats of Battlecon to win a game. Usually a game goes back and forth, and then it's one big beat that throws or snowballs a game. Usually it's two, sometimes it can be one. If you are just starting out in Battlecon, figure out which characters excite you. There's a whole bunch of them, obviously, and play that character. I want to say at least 10 games. I'd even go more. Understand that one character well to where you don't have to think about. This game can be really overwhelming, and if you can just play a few games where you can just think in terms of what your attack is, and I'll use Cadenza and the obvious example of Clark Workshop or Hydraulic Press or a Battery Dodge. We can go on and on, but when you don't have to think about all of the numbers involved and you just have an innate knowing of what those cards do, you're really able to look at the game itself better without having that brain load. And Battlecon is a game that will put you in the tank and will overload your brain with all of that information. So if you're just looking to get better, I would recommend just choosing one character, playing a lot with it, but learning concepts as opposed to what specific tricks. You'll figure those out as you play the game. But yeah, hopefully look forward to seeing a little bit more content. That was my unboxing. Hope you all have a great night.